G'day guys, welcome to my RXY's feature video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL 9's recap for 2020 guys, so let's get started. So the first match of this game, we see the Panthers going up against the Roosters. Now, this game wasn't pretty much phenomenal. The Panthers did really well as William Kikau played absolutely strong. He continued in that attack, and what I can say, he did well into that performance. He scored a hat-trick of tries, and I cannot believe that his actual performance was absolutely accurate and phenomenal. I cannot believe that this game was an absolute superb game by the Panthers. Absolutely played well. I could say Nathan Cleary played really well also, but I couldn't see any intention in that. But what's the disappointing fact was that the Roosters didn't play well. Was only Sam Verrills and Lachlan Lamb and any other ones. But I could not see Lindsay Collins play really well too, but he was a accurate performer. But sometimes though, when this happened, you only see Lindsay Collins, Lachlan Lamb, and I could say anything else, but Sam Verrills played also too, but they only played really well, but they didn't really seem that they wanted to score any tries, but it was just the fact that they didn't score at all. But it was 35 points to nil. The Roosters need to have some improvement because Roosters usually win a couple of games. But I could see intention that sometimes if they want to improve very well, but if they want to not prove very well, they got to have that structure into that team. They got to have that X factor and that talent to that team. And what I can say about this game was absolutely superb, and I could say Panthers played absolutely phenomenal, and I just could say well done to the Panthers for playing their most brilliant game of all. The next game of this round, we see the Warriors going up against the Newcastle Knights. Really what I can say about this game, it was pretty good. As you can see, the Warriors didn't play so good. They didn't have that intention to play very good, and I could not say anything worse. But I really didn't think that the Warriors didn't play as much good. But yeah, it was pretty good for the Newcastle Knights. Tex Hoy, Mason Lino, and Sione Matalia. Those are the three experienced players that I can see that they scored only one try each. But really, Tex Hoy is a development player, which he's probably going to come into that squad, I think, into that reserve grade, and I reckon that he's probably going to play for the reserve grade, and then I reckon that he may probably play for the NRL. I'm not too sure about that. Let's wait and see for the first season of round one. But yeah, it was a 34 points to nil match. I could not say anything better to myself. I really think that this game was an absolute cracker of a match, and I could say that Newcastle Knights played absolutely fantastic, and I could not say anything better than worse, only because that I just think this game was an absolute brilliant match, and I could not say anything better than worse. But yeah, I could not even pronounce it right, but Warriors absolutely played shocking because they didn't score any points. But what I can say is Newcastle Knights absolutely smashed the Warriors, and I could not say anything better than worse. But the Newcastle Knights had that form ready to begin, and I could not say anything better than worse before. But really what I can say about this match is 34 points to nil. What a great match this was, and I could not say anything better, but Newcastle Knights played better than the Warriors anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Bulldogs going up against the Parramatta Eels. Now, this game was an absolute great game. Really what I can say about this game was an absolute crucial fighter. Mitchell Moses played really well. I could say a lot of attention went to Brad Takarangi. He did really play well, but he didn't play well enough. I could see a lot of intention, but Parramatta Eels didn't play really as good as what they were before. But then, like, this game was an absolute crucial fighter. Bulldogs absolutely played very well. Corey Harawira scored, and I'd say Mitchell Mark Harper, I'd say. Only those two that scored. But then you've got like Jamin Salmon and Blake Ferguson that only scored those 2 tries to make it 13 points to 10 anyway. But really, Parramatta Eels just played an absolute great game, and I could not say anything better to myself. It was an absolute crucial fighter. This game took a lot of intention, and I just really hope that... I thought to myself that the Parramatta Eels were going to win, but then obviously they didn't, because at the last minute, Corey Harawira scored, and it was 13 points to 10, and which I thought it was probably like 10 points to 6, and wasn't. So Parramatta Eels didn't play as good as was, but the Eels, I just need some hard work to be done for the new season and for coming in for the next season, and so on. But like coming into the first season of round 1 up against the Bulldogs, which they are playing, and they were playing this game already, but they are playing the first game of the round 1 anyway. I just think that I reckon the Eels will get the job done against the Bulldogs for that one, but I could not see a lot of attention. I reckon that the Bulldogs will, like, I'd say fall apart a bit. But this game was an absolutely great game, and it was 13 points to 10, and I could not say anything better than myself. Blake Ferguson scored, he played really well. Jamin Salmon scored, he played absolutely brilliant, and Mitchell Moses, like, I could not say anything better, but try assist, goal assist, and plus anything else better to myself. He absolutely played really well anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Dragons going up against the Sharks. Now, this game was an absolutely great game. What I can say about this game was, like, could not say anything better, but, like, this intention of this game came to an absolute standstill. But the Sharks didn't play as good football, and I just could not say anything better to myself. But, like, before this came to a hand, I could not even think about like how the way the Sharks were going to go. But the only player that only stood out for me was Chad Townsend, and he was an absolute great player. And I really like how the way he plays very cool into that squad. But now I could not say anything better than to myself. I reckon that this game was an absolute crucial match, and now I could not say anything better to myself, but the Dragons absolutely played very well. The only thing, though, was I could not say anything better, but lots of these players were like reserve grades and younger players coming into the squad, which was absolutely so feminine, but like, well, so like crucial, but like it was a very new thing to actually came to. But like for the tries that they scored was 27 points to 5. That was the scoreboard of that match. The only try that was scored for the Sharks was Sione Katoa. But yeah, he played really well too. The only tries it was Josh Kerr, Tyrell Fui-Mayono, Cameron McInnes, Josh Kerr, and someone else, but I could not say it right. Oh no, Tristan Saylor. Tristan Saylor scored. He played very well, and I could not say anything better to myself, but they obviously played very well. Dragons played really well too, and I could not say anything better, but I reckon they'll have a great season for the NRL, new season anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Raiders going up against the Titans. Now, this game was an absolutely crucial game. Raiders didn't play very well, which wasn't very good for them. They only had like the average team, like average players that went to that squad, and they didn't play very well. But the only thing that was coming to here was that the Titans were playing as well as they were last year. No, last year they played very terrible, but they got into that team, they got into that squad, and I reckon Justin Holbrook just pulled it into their heads and said, we need to win a game. Otherwise, we're not a good footy team as we were before. We need to win. We need to have that fight. We need to have that standstill. And if we don't have that standstill, we won't win a game. So that's what I mean. But then, that was absolute great news because they won the game. 27 points to 10. Absolute great game it was for the Titans. They absolutely killed it out there. Ash Taylor played absolutely brilliant. Last year he played terrible, which I thought to myself, he wasn't going to have like a very great year. But the only tries that it was for the team, I think 2 tries goes to Jonas Pearson, 1 try goes to Michael Gordon, the other one goes to Anthony Don, and yeah, like I'm not too sure which the other try it was for the Titans, but they absolutely played very well. 27 points to 10 it was. I cannot believe that they just came out firing, and last year they could have just done that too, but then they keep losing and they keep not working hard. But that's what they need. They need to work hard. But then you got Justin Holbrook as the new coach, and they are working hard because they stood to their heads, telling them what to do, and they just took it, and they obviously won up against the Raiders anyway. The next game of this round, we see the West Tigers going up against the Rabbitohs. Now, this game was an absolutely great game. I cannot believe that the Tigers absolutely played very well. It was a very good offer from the Tigers because Billy Walters came into their squad from the Melbourne Storm, which I think to myself, it is Kevin Walters' son anyway, which I don't think it is. I may have to check about that because you obviously got 3 brothers, because you got Billy Walters, Steve Walters, and Kevin Walters. I'm not too sure if they are related or not, but they probably are. But also, it was an absolutely great game from the Tigers, and it was a 17 points to 8, low average score, which I cannot believe it was even happening. But also too, I cannot believe that this game was a brilliant game to watch and a brilliant game to see, which came out firing only because Billy Walters scored a try, Sam McKildrey scored, and I could not say anything better to myself, but I think Paul Momorowski scored, or I think he took the goal to make that lead. But the only try that was absolutely going into that very good match was Campbell Graham and Adini Gibby, from the PNG side, which I think he absolutely played very well. Campbell Graham played very well also too. I did not think he played his very good game it was, but for Campbell Graham, he played very well, but I just don't think they didn't play as good enough football as they are, like, a very good team. But also too, it was a 17 points to 8, this scoreboard was, and well done the West Tigers anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Cowboys going up against the Broncos. Now, this game was an absolutely brilliant game. I could not say anything better to myself. But the Cowboys, they just came out firing and they just took it to a standstill, which I think that this game was a brilliant game to watch and brilliant game to see. I could not say anything better to myself, but really, for this game, it was an absolutely brilliant game, but it was a hard matchup because usually Broncos and Cowboys go into an absolute fighter and then go into an absolute treat, because usually these two sides are very hard to beat because they are from Queensland anyway, which that is pretty much, I could not say anything better than myself. But really what I can say about this match is 17 points to 11 that scoreboard was, and Fidel scored, Cohen Hess scored, Scott Drinkwater scored, and I cannot believe that it was an absolute great game for Fidel, that he was an absolute speedster, and I could not say anything better. But usually Josh Addo-Carr is usually the fastest player in the comp, but then Fidel, going up against these two sides, I reckon Josh Addo-Carr will probably beat him in the foot race. But really what I can say about this match is this game was an absolute brilliant game. Broncos played very well, but not good enough for them. Jake Turpin played absolutely very well, which I cannot believe that he scored a try. And also Jesse Arthurs that scored the try to make it to 11 points on the scoreboard anyway. But 17 points goes to Cowboys anyway, because they did win this game. And I just thought Broncos were going to win it, but then Cowboys obviously won it, and they obviously took it to a fight, and it took it to a fighting lead anyway. And last but not least, the Melbourne Storm going up against the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, this game was an absolute brilliant game to watch and brilliant game to see. I could not say anything better than myself, but this one was a shocking win, because usually Melbourne Storm usually win this game, but then they didn't have Josh Addo-Carr, they didn't have anything else, they didn't have anyone else coming to that squad, which they were experienced. But they had Nico Hines, he played very well too, but he didn't score a try. Also, they didn't have that good enough experience they usually have, which I think Cameron Smith was playing also too. But the only try that conceded to a 4-point deficit was Cameron Munster, that only scored a try anyway, but he played very well too. He stood that ground, and I really think that that the Melbourne Storm played very good, but not good enough to see a loss into that scoreboard anyway. But I could not say Manly won this game 18 points to 4, but it was a away game for the Manly Sea Eagles, and I could not say anything better. But it was a very surprising win for the Manly Sea Eagles, and I could not say anything better to myself. But this game was a very shocking win, because usually Melbourne Storm win this, but I could not say anything better. But the only one try and the two tries were Luke Metcalf and Ruben Garrick, and I could not say anything better. But well done to those two. They obviously scored and played a wonderful game of football anyway. But it was an 18 points to 4 win, and well done to those players that obviously scored the tries anyway. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. I will be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, I'll be doing part 2 coming to you guys soon. This is a part 1 video for the Friday matches that were live and free, I'll say. But yeah, so thanks guys for watching this video. Hope you guys stay tuned for more. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Until then, take care guys. Stay safe and have a good one. But also, leave a like and subscribe to it. But yeah, part 2 coming up very soon, and this one will be up very soon anyway for part 1.